Craig here, together with the rest of the Support Experience Collective gang, though sadly we're missing Eleanor today because she's sick, so we hope she gets well soon. We've got a few tips and things to share with you today. First of all, it was my birthday this week, so happy birthday, me. And I very lovingly and surprisingly got a cake through the post from my mother-in-law, and in it was this fabulous little colouring book, and saying, you know, this is a gift during this time, stay safe, happy colouring. Got a big pack of pens. I just thought it was a really lovely way to connect me with the brand, not one that I particularly bought from before. I just thought it was a lovely way to lift the experience. And I think this is something for all those people doing virtual events and doing lots of community fundraising. What's the little extras you can do to maybe make that experience that little bit more memorable? So I'm going to be back in a minute to talk a little bit more about supporter journeys, but I'm going to hand over to Leanne, who's got something else to share with you.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Craig. I love that. I know we talk a lot about wow moments, so I'm glad that you got your very own wow moment with your colouring book. I hope to see that your progress with your colouring. And I just wanted to share an experience that I'd had with a brand recently as well that I thought had a really useful lesson in it. So I've been ordering food from Feed Britain, which is from the team at Leon, who have pivoted their business model now that their restaurants are closed. I was really excited to get my first cheese box, and when I opened up my delivery, it wasn't there. And I just emailed them more because I just didn't want it to be left on the van, and obviously I couldn't chase the driver in a socially distant fashion. But just having had that email, which they kind of took as a complaint, but the way they dealt with it was so good. And obviously, in the big scheme of things, a missing cheese box in the current climate isn't really that important. But they just took it to be like, it was important to them that I had a good experience of their brand, and they refunded half of the money, which I then donated back to them anyway. But I just felt really good about that experience, that they took my custom really seriously. And they were also just really transparent about the fact that they're developing this new business model on the hoof, and just to bear with them. And they were just really transparent about that, which was really great. So yeah, check them out if you're in need of some tasty ready meals. And obviously I've told you all about it, so dealing with your complaints effectively can turn a negative experience into a positive one.
I love that. Yeah, it's a great example, Leanne, and I think also a really good example of sort of that vulnerability that organisations perhaps need to show in this time, because we're not going to get everything right, and being able to respond quickly in that way has obviously had a really positive impact. I also wanted to share about thinking about motivation. So maybe as an organisation you've launched a crisis appeal and you've hopefully seen some donations rise in this period, but actually thinking about what, how are your donor motivations different during this time? How are they specifically connecting with your cause during the coronavirus crisis? And then thinking about, well, what kind of follow-up, what kind of ongoing supporter engagement will you need for those donors who've responded today? So just posing that question for you to think through, to be ready for how you're going to keep those supporters engaged based on that, and perhaps gathering some insight as to what's motivated them to specifically respond during this time.
Great, thanks, Emily. I think doing that, I think one of the big questions a lot of charities having at the current time is this one-off giving. How can we get the second gifts from them? Is that feasible, or is this uplift that we're seeing just going to be temporary and then we're going to see a slump? And that leads nicely really onto what I wanted to finish up with, which is one of the things we talk about on our upcoming supporter journey course, and how to make supporter journeys that work. It's around, you know, what is the job that the communication that you're sending needs to do and is doing, and it's interesting to think that through, because one of the big mistakes we see charities making when designing a journey or trying to improve their experience is they consider it from their perspective and what they think the job is that they want to do, rather than what actually the supporter needs. I think a great example of this is welcome packs. You know, in theory, welcome packs should be amazing, but I've seen so many tests over the years that show that often they don't actually have any impact at all on retention. But that's mainly because they're not being done right. And what's not being thought through is, what job does this need to do, this welcome pack need to do for our supporter? Does it need to thank? Does it need to connect them to the cause? Does it need to play back their motivations and reasons for giving? What are the things that it needs to do when you're communicating with your supporter? And if you get that right, that unlocks hopefully a lifetime of giving, better retention, better lifetime value, and will help you improve your experience. So that's all for this week. Enjoy your upcoming week. I hope everything goes well, and we'll be back in a couple of days with some more videos. Thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye. Bye.